I was not born wealthy. I wasn't born powerful. I was born into uncertainty, into a world where money was unpredictable. My father was unreliable, and the future felt fragile. But perhaps that instability gave me the greatest gift a man can receive, the urgency to master myself. Many people believe I built Standard Oil because I worked harder, because I was smarter, or because fate favored me. No, I built my empire because I learned to stay calm when the world was shaking, to think clearly when others panicked, to decide rationally when other men drowned in their emotions. If you want to understand the Rockefeller mindset, you must understand this. Before I controlled my businesses, I learned to control myself. Today, I will teach you exactly how I did it, step by step, so that you, no matter your origin, can apply the same principles to your own life. Let us begin. Section 1. How I disciplined my mind as a boy. I grew up with a father who lied, traveled, disappeared for months, and sold fake cures to unsuspecting people. He lived chaotically. I chose to live with discipline. I watched him and I told myself, I will never allow emotions to control my life the way they controlled his. At the age of 16, I wrote in my journal, control your temper, control your tongue, control your time. Every morning before I worked, I read this. Every night before sleeping, I repeated it. And slowly my mind began to obey me. I realized something early. A man who cannot control his emotions will be controlled by other men who can. So I trained myself to be calm, deliberately, intentionally. Here is how. Section 2. Rule number 1. I never made a decision while emotional. You may think this sounds basic, but most fortunes disappear because someone panicked or became greedy. I had a simple rule. If I am angry, excited, pressured, or afraid, I do not decide. Not today, not ever. Once, when oil prices collapsed and my partners demanded immediate action, I excused myself and took a walk alone at night. Everyone panicked. I observed. The next morning, with a clear mind, I made the choice that later made us millions. I learned that emotion creates noise. Clarity requires silence. So when you face pressure, do not move. When the world is shouting, become quiet. That is how you hear the right decision. Section 3. Rule number 2. I trained myself to love bad news. Most men fear bad news. I welcomed it. Bad news reveals what needs to be fixed. Bad news exposes weaknesses. Bad news forces you to improve. When someone brought me a problem, I tightened my tie, leaned forward, and listened with full attention. I never shouted, I never blamed, I never reacted. Instead, I said, thank you. Now let us find the opportunity hiding inside this difficulty. People were stunned. But this is why I advanced faster than others. While they complained, I learned. While they panicked, I prepared. Bad news is a gift, if your emotions do not blind you to the opportunity it carries. Section 4. Rule number 3. I made my life boring on purpose. You may imagine my life as dramatic or chaotic. It wasn't. In fact, intentionally, it was boring. I followed a strict routine. I focused on habits. I avoided unnecessary noise. Why? Because emotional stability comes from lifestyle discipline. I slept early. I spent modestly. I avoided alcohol. I walked every day. I gave generously. I avoided arguments. I chose calmness over pride. I did this not because I was weak, but because I understood. A calm man sees further than a chaotic man. If you want to control your mind, start with controlling your habits. Section 5. Rule number 4. I surrounded myself with calm people. You can be disciplined, but if you surround yourself with loud, impulsive, emotional people, their chaos will infect your mind. So I built my environment like a fortress. If someone was dramatic, angry, complaining, or inconsistent, I respectfully distanced myself. My partners, my assistants, my accountants, all of them shared the same qualities: calm, rational, patient, methodical. They did not shout. They did not exaggerate. They did not gossip. They did not panic. Why? Because a calm environment creates a calm mind, and a calm mind makes powerful decisions. Section 6. Rule number 5. I always measured before I acted. Before I bought an oil refinery, I measured. Before I hired a partner, I measured. Before expanding, I measured. Not with emotions, with data, with numbers, with facts. I often told my employees, don't tell me what you feel. Tell me what is true. People confuse emotions with judgment. Do not do this. If you want to think like me, do what I did. Analyze, track, verify, compare, calculate, reason first. Emotion never. Section 7. Rule number 6. I assumed the worst and built for it. Emotional people hope things will go well. Wise people prepare for when they don't. Every time I made a decision, I asked myself, what if everything collapses? What if the worst happens? If the plan survived the worst scenario, then it was a plan worth acting on. This mindset protected me from fear, because I had already faced the worst in my mind and made peace with it. Preparedness is the antidote to panic. Section 8. Rule number 7. I protected my energy like a treasure. My time was precious, yes, but my energy, my mental clarity, was priceless. I avoided unnecessary meetings. I refused emotional conversations. I ignored trivial arguments. I said no more often than yes, because I understood. A man loses his fortune far more often from emotional exhaustion than from financial errors. If you want to preserve your judgment, you must protect your mind. Section 9. How I controlled fear during crises. During the panic of 1873, businesses collapsed everywhere. Men cried in the streets. Some even ended their own lives. Fear gripped the nation, but not me. I would walk calmly through the chaos, hands behind my back, observing the opportunities panic created. People asked how I stayed so calm. This was my secret. I trusted my discipline more than I feared the crisis. I had prepared. I had studied. I had planned. I had strengthened my mind. So when the storm arrived, I was already standing tall. And that is how I bought refineries at prices that later made me the richest man in the world. Calmness is not a gift. It is earned through preparation. Section 10. How I controlled my ego. The most dangerous emotion is not fear. It is pride. Hot-headed men lose fortunes. Ego-driven men destroy partnerships. Arrogant men miscalculate risks. So I trained myself to remain humble. Even at the peak of my power, I asked myself, what do I still not know? What mistake am I blind to? How would a wiser man see this? Pride blinds you. Humility reveals truth, and truth leads to better decisions. Section 11. How I made decisions in 4 steps. Whenever I faced a major decision, I used this exact process. Step 1. Slow down. Emotions want speed. Wisdom requires stillness. Step 2. Write it down. A written problem becomes smaller and clearer. Step 3. Remove emotions. I asked myself, would this decision change if I were calm? If yes, I waited. Step 4. Choose the long-term path. Always the long-term path. Short-term emotions destroy long-term fortunes. Section 12. My personal daily rituals for emotional control. Every day I practiced quiet reflection, long walks, journaling, reading scripture, reviewing decisions, planning ahead, gratitude. These habits kept my mind steady. People think strength comes from aggression. No, strength comes from calmness, clarity, and constant self-discipline. Section 13. How I controlled anger. Anger is expensive, very expensive. I had many rivals, many who insulted me, many who tried to take me down, but I never retaliated emotionally. Why? Because anger clouds profits. Anger destroys patience. Anger blinds judgment. So when someone attacked me, I told myself, reacting emotionally gives them control. And I refused to give anyone that power. Section 14. How I controlled greed. Greed has destroyed more men than poverty ever has. I made a rule. If a decision seems too good to be true, I slow down. Greed pushes you to rush. Rushing pushes you into traps. I would rather earn slowly with certainty than quickly with regret. That patience is one of the reasons my wealth endured while others vanished. Section 15. The secret to my calm. Gratitude. You may not believe this, but one of the greatest tools for emotional control is gratitude. When you are grateful, fear loses its grip. When you are grateful, envy dissolves. When you are grateful, greed becomes unnecessary. That gratefulness kept me grounded even when wealth skyrocketed around me. Peace comes from appreciation. Section 16. How you can apply my mindset today. Here is what I want you to do. 1. Stop making emotional decisions. Delay them. Let the emotion drain out. 2. Surround yourself with calm people. Your environment shapes your judgment. 3. Study the numbers, facts over feelings, always. 4. Build routines. Stability comes from discipline. 5. Expect difficulties. Prepare in advance. 6. Protect your energy. Say no often. 7. Think long-term decades, not days. You don't need my wealth to begin. You only need my discipline. If I leave you with one final truth, let it be this. Your mind is the first empire you must conquer. The world will test you. People will provoke you. Life will attempt to distract you. Crises will shake you. But if you strengthen your mind, if you control your emotions, if you choose clarity over impulse, then nothing, not panic, not competition, not chaos, can stop you. That is how I lived. That is how I built my fortune. That is how you can build yours. Control yourself, and you control your destiny. This is the Rockefeller mindset.